Konnichiwa Nagi-san here again. I bet you didn't think I'd ever say that again. What are we looking at today? We're looking at this, which is World Rally. Sorry. Just trying to think of how to pronounce the name of the company. If I remove one of these stickers, because actually these are irrelevant now. I thought one of these was like an I/O processor at first, but no, it's not. This is World Rally. It's by a company that is spelt G-A-E-L-C-O, because I have no clue how to pronounce it. If I had to guess, I would have said, what was it, Galco, or Jalico, or whatever. I don't know how you pronounce it. This board under this cover, which says "Do not open," I have opened it. There's a suicide battery under there. I'll forewarn you. Doesn't kill the game, but if that battery dies, your game will basically become so glitchy it's unplayable. Hilarious, but unplayable. What you want to do is occasionally check that. I've checked it. I checked it a couple of days ago? Yeah, yesterday even, and it's was reading about 3 volts. So I might change it in future, but I'm not going to bother. It's 3 volts. When it gets down to about 2.7, then probably best you change it, but I'm not going to care. This is a plastic cover, you just lift it off. You might snap some of the tabs, but super glue is your friend. Under these are just, these aren't anything to do with that. These are the 2 graphics chips. We've got our unencrypted M68K. Love to see the sight of that after the eSwap board. And yeah, not much else I can say apart from 2 program ROMs, and then everything else is mounted. We've got 2 program ROMs. These are what are they, 27 4001s, so they're 512, 1 meg of program ROM there, although probably would be 512k program data, because obviously these are going to be 16, these are 8-bit, so these 1 meg together, but you divide them in half. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I digress, as always. So, World Rally. This is the Atari manual, because Atari licensed it from. See, I can't even think of how you pronounce it. Gaalco. I'm going to call them from now on. Right. So I was reading through this manual. I was reading about dip switches. Interesting fact about this: you can use about 3 different control mechanisms. You can use a joystick. You can use a 360 degree steering wheel, so like the optical encoders, or you can even use a potentiometer. You set that through the dip switches. I'm not going to go through that in that video. Also, if the battery does go, it will say that the co-process failed, but if you press any button to continue, but honestly, you've got no collision detection when you crash, which is kind of ironic because you can't crash if you have no collision detection. It's hit and miss, like, no pun intended, but if you say you crash, it'll put you into a place on the map and you start driving off and just completely glitch out. It's just unplayable, and ramps are invisible, etc, etc. Anyway, I bought this board faulty. This board came into me with a fault, had a graphical fault, and so I thought maybe there's something to do with it. So yeah, I thought, well, let's have a look. And I'll warn you, I've already begun work on this before I even started. Ignore the scrolling line. I think this is a 24K game, but you see that it's just a completely white screen. You occasionally get some garbage graphics come out. I don't know if we'll ever see that. Yeah, there you go. I don't know if you can sort of just see that. You get some garbage graphics, but nothing happens. So I thought, okay, what else do we? What do we do? First thought is any broken traces. So I went and had a look. And apparently, there's my bag stuck to the bottom of this. I went and had a look. There were a couple of scraped traces, I believe I'm going to call scratch, whatever. So I went and tinned those, although I don't think they really needed doing, but, eliminate as most problems as you can get, check the RAM, and then these 2 here weren't working, which is strange, because at first that one would work, no, that one wasn't working, and that one was, and then that one stopped working, and I'm thinking, and all the data was getting to them, so you get your address lines, your chip enable, your write enable, and all that stuff. They were all going to that chip, and they were working fine, but just nothing was coming out of the chip. And I thought, well, that's bizarre. And then this chip started doing it, and I thought, okay, that's really bizarre. It's like just none of the data channels were outputting any data. So I had a look online, seen about what the prices were, and they were anywhere from £3 to £15 per piece, and I'm thinking, let's not do that, because, well, let's make sure we make sure it's those first, because if they're not and we're wrong, So I was just having a look. Now you see there's a 74244 chip there. That is a line driver, so basically that's what takes unstable voltages and data lines and makes them either high or low. So it's a comparator of sorts. I think that's what it does. That's what the data sheet told me. And then we've got some multiplexing bits. We've got we've got multiplexing bits, and anyway, a lot of 74 logic. And I thought, okay, well, what does that connect? Is it that chip? Because these two connect to that little chip in there, and I thought, let's have a look at that. And the output enables, they were both high, which means they weren't enabled. So that chip was essentially disabled, which, when these get disabled, they go into a high impedance mode, and I thought, well, could that be grounding those out to make it look like the RAM chips are dead? Sure enough, yes, it was actually doing that. So, because I sent them high, and it did actually start working. But obviously, those aren't supposed to be... No, sorry, I sent them low. Those aren't supposed to be just low. They're supposed to be switching, switching states all the time, so that you don't get RAM errors. So I then thought, well, where does that go to? And I was tracing it around. It goes up to a couple of these chips over here, and more 74 logic, and then it goes after a while. It goes onto these chips here, I think. But I was having a look, and it turns out it's not the RAM chips. It's not that chip. Actually, what it turns out to be is that chip there. That chip is a 74368 chip, and what that does is it is a hex inverting buffer. Basically, if you if you get a 0 in, it will give you a 1 out, and if you get a 1 in, it gives you a 0 out, and plus it's a buffer. So that thing is supposed to, you put that before your chips to protect them, so that if someone, something like a high voltage spikes through it or whatever, it kills the chip, not your RAM, for example. So I thought, okay, we may as well try this, and yeah, I went down to my local hardware store. They gave me a 74368. You won't be able to see the codes because my camera is absolute crap. And yeah, what I find funny is it looks really old, and actually the date code is 1979, 7th week 1979. So that is an old chip. It's 2 years older, at least, than 2 years, 10 years older than this board at least. And it's now what, 2014, so friggin' ancient chip, and they still had this. And I thought, may as well try it, see if it works. They gave me a choice of a newer one, but the newer one looked really crusty. So what you can do with 74 logic, you don't have to cut out the old one, because 74 logic, you can sort of just place on top, and if if it starts working, then it's going to be that new chip. Because obviously RAM, you don't want to do the same. Windows Update. I was going to say, why did my PC suddenly start shutting itself down? Anyway, sorry, something I didn't plan. So yeah, you can just literally put 74 logic on place of the old one and see if it works. And let's turn it on. Look at that, we're getting graphics. Obviously, it's scrolling a lot because it's actually a 24K game, I believe, 24 kilohertz game, and this is only a 15 kilohertz monitor. But look at that, we're getting an image now. It's a little glitchy. Presents. Let's see if we can. You can sort of see it better now. There you go, Wool Rally. Nicely working. I'm sorry about the scrolling. Like I say, it's a 24K game. It's actually making me dizzy. Obviously, if I remove that chip, so let's take that out, it starts going really glitchy again, and then it goes back to a white screen. 1979 chip. Put that into the thing, and starts working really nicely. So proof that just check everything else. I was initially going to get the RAM and hope for the best that it was that. I didn't need to, because literally all I needed to do was just get a new 74 logic. And the guy said to me, who sold it me for a cheap price of £5, and I love him, I love that. Said that it would either give him a widescreen or... Oh, go away, Luke. Oh, sorry. Right. He said to me, you would either get a widescreen or if you... let's wait until it goes into the thing. It's a little glitchy, but it's because it's not soldered in, so it's going to be, you know, a little bad. You'll see, though, you can pretty much see that the graphics are there and they're working quite nicely. If we go into the demo mode, he said that you could play the game, but you were flying blind because you couldn't see where your car was. Some of the backgrounds, you know, some of the sprites were missing, some of the interface was missing. And I've seen the picture. It looked, you know, like a RAM error. But you can see here we've got the car going about, we've got all the graphics. You know, of the I've got all the graphics from the HUD and all the background working absolutely perfectly. And I know that this isn't a the scrolling picture is not a problem with the board because I've had it working on other things. In fact, I'll be right back and show you it's not the case. Okay, back again. This is on my PC monitor, and you see it's a little glitchy, but you know, again, we've not soldered that down. We've just literally got it held in place by mechanical retention. So I expect a little bit of glitchiness, but you can see the picture's absolutely stable. So it's nothing, you know. I believe this is a 24K game, and let's see if we can get. Yeah, if I move that chip about, I can get it to go better or worse. So I mean, you know, I'd say that chip is certainly make a difference. And again, if we were to remove it, you can see there as well, though. All the, well, you know, all the graphics are there. The car's there. He's jumping about. All the HUD is there. So, and there you go. I've just let go of the chip, and it's gone all glitchy. So there you go. Little takeaway thing. You know, even if you got bad RAM and you're pretty confident it's that, always check something else. Just, you know, just see where it goes to. Check that works. You might find other issues. I would have ordered those RAM chips, but a complete waste of time because I didn't need it. But you know, simple 74 logic chip, and if I remove this chip, it goes really glitchy, and then it goes nice and white. So yeah, and here's the funny thing: this board cost me £5. The shipping cost me £5. This chip cost me 50p. So that's what, £10.50 this board cost me. I think it's a nice deal. And all I have to do really is get a nice opto encoder or a steering wheel for it, and we're good to go. So there we go, little repair video. And I'm sorry I didn't do it, didn't go, you know, and do a repair video on the fly. But you know, I just wanted to get this board working, and I sort of just started messing around, and I eventually found it within about 4 hours. So I was going to record it, but I just didn't. So sorry.